This week on the LTU Sports Report, we get into all of the fall sports action and get to know some of our student athletes. We hit the court with our red-hot women's volleyball team, find out what one of our softball players was up to over the summer, and meet the newest member of the LTU Athletics coaching staff. Don't go anywhere because the LTU Sports Report starts right now.
LTU Sports Report is brought to you by Varsity Brands, elevating student experiences in sport, spirit, and achievement. The City of Southfield, the center of it all. Michigan First Credit Union, and Hungry Howie's, famous for flavor.
Welcome back into Southfield, everybody, for a brand new episode of the LTU Sports Report, the only school in the nation covering an NAIA's athletic and academic programs. I'm your host, Sarah Davis.
And I'm your host, Dylan Morello. Lawrence Tech is a nationally recognized academic institution, but what you may not know is we boast over 20 varsity sports teams here on campus. Highlighting today's show is the women's volleyball team, who sits atop their conference and have yet to lose in WAC play.
That's right, Dylan. We have all the action from the men's football team taking on St. Francis, Indiana, our women's soccer team fighting for a home playoff game, and the Battle of the Techs on the ice.
Yeah, a lot to get into and only half an hour to do it, so let's jump right in with our women's basketball team, who finished off the annual Blue Devil Classic against St. Xavier LA this past weekend.
We're back at the Don Riddler Fieldhouse for the Blue Devils Classic, this time featuring the ladies in blue and the Xavier LA Golden Nuggets. LTU looks to start their season off 2-0, while the Golden Nuggets look to get their first win. Starting in the first quarter, the Blue Devils down 3 early, but sophomore Kendall Fisher makes a nice drive down the lane for a wide-open layup for LTU's first points of the game. The score is 13-12, Blue Devils headed into the second quarter. Picking things up midway through the second quarter, LTU with a 3-point lead. The Blue Devils grab the offensive rebound, Fisher resets the play, passes to freshman Julia Huey, and she hits the three. The Blue Devils lead 27-25 headed into halftime. The third quarter was not too kind to Lawrence Tech as they now trail the Golden Nuggets, but the senior Taryn Klein hits a three to pull the Blue Devils within one. The score is now 48-39, Nuggets going into the fourth. Jumping to the fourth quarter, LTU is down 11, but the senior connections from Rachel Price to Danielle Hansen leads to an and one play for Hansen to pull the Devils within 9. However, Lawrence Tech would run out of time and lose this one with a final score of 64-53, and they move to 1-1 on the season.
Definitely, we worked hard. They're an athletic team, and we never gave up. I would say the grit and overall effort of my teammates was definitely one of the positives to take from this loss.
When you hit some adversity, you got to learn from it and make some changes, and we got to get back to the drawing board. I told the girls, I'll never stop coaching you, but don't stop playing for me. It's game 2. We can't expect to have it all figured out right now. That's a D1 NAIA team, and they've got options and they've got weapons, and I think we did some really good things, but I think, we've got some stuff to work on as well.
Hi, I'm Sydney. I'm on the softball team here at Lawrence Tech, and here is your tip of the week. Today I'm going to teach you how to throw a changeup. There are many different grips to throwing a changeup, but the changeup I throw is a knuckle change. So you're going to put your pointer finger and middle finger on the seams of the horseshoe of the ball. Grip it really tight, and then when you release it, you're just going to open up your fingers and let it fly out. You're not going to flick your wrist and give it any more speed, so it just floats into the plate and drops. I'm Sydney, and that was your tip of the week.
Hi, I'm Meredith Adams. I'm a senior on the softball team here at Lawrence Tech studying biomedical engineering. And this past summer, I actually had the opportunity to do the RU program at Clemson University in their bioengineering department. there's a national foundation that funds all the RU programs at universities like across the country. So I applied to, I think, 10 programs. I ended up getting into the one at Clemson, which is the one I took. It's normally like a 10-week-ish program over the summer. I was tasked with building a 3D bioprinter, which pretty much prints materials for like tissue engineering with cells embedded. So I was tasked with building their bioprinter, so that was my kind of day-to-day. I would just work on the programming, the electronics, the hardware for that device pretty much on a day-to-day basis. I'm actually in the process of applying to medical school right now. Medical schools really like student athletes just because they know how to balance that workload with like another activity like softball, and they know that they can handle the stress that would come with like a medical school studies. I really try to get all my schoolwork completed. So when we have like in the spring, we'll have games on usually Wednesdays and the weekends. So I try to get all my schoolwork completed like before we leave for the weekend. That way I'm not worried about like schoolwork over the weekends when we're playing, or I'll try to like complete some of my schoolwork on the bus as we travel to games, things like that. So I just try to really get my work done as soon as possible. That way I'm not stressed about it, so I can focus on softball during softball.
What's up, everybody? I'm Alex Johnson here at the Farmington Hills Ice Arena for some Blue Devil hockey. After the break, we meet the brand new track and field head coach and get to some highlights on ice. We'll be right back.
Southfield truly is the ideal place to live, work, and play.
Well, it's a very exciting time in the city of Southfield. Great neighborhoods, great city services, and Fortune 500 companies. Southfield has something for everyone.
Recognized as Michigan's premier business address, home to world-class educational institutions, voted one of the nation's most livable metro area suburbs.
Southfield is the center of it all.
It's time again for you to register your League of Legends team for the State Champs Esports 4th Annual Tournament hosted by Lawrence Tech. We're looking for the top 64 high school League of Legends teams to battle it out to be crowned the best in the Midwest. With thousands of scholarship dollars at stake, you need to register your team today at statechampsesports.net.
You ready, Darius?
Let's do it. Anybody want an autograph?
Autograph? We're here for the stuffed crust pizza.
Stuffed crust pizza? Hey, who do you think you are? End of the line, pal.
Treat yourself to the world's first stuffed flavored crust pizza. And now, for just $6.99, try our new stuffed Howie bread. Hungry? Howie's!
All right, everybody, it's almost time for puck drop here, but before we get to that, let's meet the newest member of the LTU Athletics coaching staff.
I'm Jason Ross Jr. alongside LTU Athletics Director Scott Trudeau. Scott, feels like every time we get together, LTU Athletics is growing in some way or another. Today we're discussing the new track and field program. Discussing the timeline here to begin things, the program was announced last March. When did the idea begin to originate for a new track and field program at LTU?
So when we initially started with some assistant coaches on our current program in March, we talked about it last September. We're very adamant about giving attention to our student athletes, and a full-time coach is the way to do that. So that's why we're sitting down today.
We have Coach Tate sitting with us here in studio today. A lot of excitement about this brand new program coming into LTU Athletics. Wanted to ask you, when you first got that phone call that you would be the new head coach, what thoughts started to run through your mind?
I'm coming home. I'm coming home. That was the first thought, that I'm getting an opportunity to come back home, be with family and friends, and be a part of something real special.
And since the program was announced last March, still obviously in the very early growth stages of this program, haven't competed yet, what kind of work goes into building up a program in these stages?
Wow, one of the first things you get in, just getting to know the campus, that's the first thing. I have to know what's going on campus first too. So that was one of the first things that you start with. And then after that is recruit, get the name out there, letting athletes, student athletes know that it's here. I'm here, the school is here. You know, just branding and promoting the school.
And when you dream about the possibilities down the road of your program, what comes to mind when you envision the future of LTU track and field?
I come here to make a mark. I come in the state, come back home to make a mark. I plan on the school putting it on the map. So I think of conference championships. I think of national championships someday down in the future.
We know Coach Green from the cross-country team will be on the staff. He has plenty of experience in this line of work.
Well, he's going to bring the distance portion of it. He's going to bring in that part and add in. He's going to be still here doing the cross-country, but then he'll come over to track and do the distance on the track part of it. So, I mean, that's the part that'll free me up to do more on the sprint and the field event side. But he's going to be a great asset to the program also.
In their first meeting of the year, our Blue Devil men's ACHA D1 hockey team hosted conference rival the Warriors from Indiana Tech. Both teams off to a good start this year, but in search of a win here inside Farmington Ice Arena. We jump to the second period with the Blue Devils facing a 3-goal deficit. Putting on some good pressure is Cole Therian and Brendan Priest. Therian ends up intercepting the puck and hitting Priest for the quick one-timer goal. LTU now down a pair. Just a few minutes later, the boys in white and blue were down a man due to a 5-minute major. But that wouldn't stop them as senior Eddie Flood blocks the shot and then pushing up the ice is Parker Hodges, who finishes with the backhand on the breakaway. Blue Devils back in it with the score now 3-2. Indiana Tech would stop the run, however, later in the period. Again on the power play, the Warriors are able to get the puck in the back of the net off of a few rebounds. They would add another in the final minute and lead 5-2 into the second intermission. Coming out hot in the third period was the home team. Just 46 seconds into play, senior Connor Victory picked off the I-Tech clear attempt and has little trouble burying the wide open shot in front. Unfortunately, that would be all the scoring for the Blue Devils as they dropped their first meeting with Indiana Tech by a score of 8-3.
Well, we had a slow start for sure. We spotted them 3 goals, and you can't dig a hole that deep against a good team like Indiana Tech.
First thing we did when we came in the locker room, everybody was saying what we did wrong, what we need to fix, and kind of at the end of that, I just kind of stood up and said, we said all this, now let's go out and do it.
We were all on the same page, players, coaching staff. We knew we didn't have a good first period. We knew we let them cash in on a few easy opportunities, so it was pretty easy. We made a couple corrections, everyone bought in. We went out and played a little bit more our style game second period.
You know, this is our first time playing this team this year, and the best thing we can do is just play the way we did. There's obviously a few mistakes we'd like to have back in the third and the first, but our second period was great. But I mean, other than that, we don't got to change much. We just got to bear down, put the puck on net more, and stop them from putting the puck in our net.
Hi everybody, I'm Jason Ross Jr. here inside of the Don Riddler Fieldhouse for yet another exciting women's volleyball match. If you haven't been following along, the ladies are a perfect 15-0 in conference play and ranked 23rd in the country. We'll have highlights of their match against Rochester after the break, along with spotlighting one of our student athletes here on campus.
Talking about finances can be confusing, difficult, scary, murky even. But it doesn't have to be with Money Mentor by Michigan First Credit Union on your side. More than 90 years ago, Michigan First was founded on the principle of putting education first. Today, Money Mentor continues that tradition because affording the lifestyle you want isn't always easy. Check us out at MichiganFirstMoneyMentor.com or follow us on social media for tips, tricks, blogs, and videos today.
You sit on the sidelines, but your heart is running across that field. His drive becomes yours, his dreams too. So when a torn ACL and concussion threaten those dreams, choose the sports medicine team that treats the whole athlete. Henry Ford Health System. We combine the most innovative technology with a personalized treatment plan so he can get back his confidence. And you can get back to being his biggest fan. Henry Ford Health System. All for you.
State Champs is the original high school sports show, and State Champs Sports Network is always on, 24/7, delivering the content you want on the platform you choose. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and StateChampsNetwork.com. Coming in 2020, the State Champs app.
Donovan Edwards bullies his way through this crowd of Highlanders.
State Champs Sports Network is always on. Follow, like, subscribe, and share.
I chose Lawrence Tech for the architecture program and volleyball team. Architecture is a great fit for me because I love math and design. Now I combine them with technology to create beautiful structures. At Lawrence Tech, I didn't have to wait until my third year to start designing. Our hands-on education begins right from day one. And I'm really excited about LTU's Design Center in Detroit. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
Welcome back to the LTU Sports Report. The fans are filling in and the players are just about ready to get this first set underway as the Blue Devil women's volleyball team takes on Rochester University.
We're here at Don Riddler Fieldhouse as the Lawrence Tech Blue Devils take on the Rochester Warriors in some WAC volleyball action. With the season coming to an end, the Blue Devils look to inch closer to locking up the #1 seed in the playoffs, while the Rochester Warriors look to pull off the biggest upset of the season so far. Let's get to the action. Starting in the first set, the Blue Devils were clicking on all cylinders as junior Shelby Rash delivers a nice pass to senior Christy Doherty as LTU extends their lead 14-2. It only took 16 minutes for Lawrence Tech to close out the first set. On to the second set, where the Blue Devils jump out to an 8-2 lead. The Warriors return the serve, but the sophomore from Ontario, Alicia Bypujan, passes to McDonald for the nice score. LTU goes on to win the second set in dominating fashion, 25-14. As we move on to the third set, the Blue Devils found themselves in a much closer battle, but pulled away late in the set after Doherty sets up fellow senior Varvara Gromakova, and she would finish off the play, giving the Blue Devils a 15-9 lead. Later on in the set, the Blue Devils close out the set after Doherty passes to Henry, who tips the ball off to finish the game, leading LTU to win the set 25-16. Lawrence Tech sweeps Rochester in 3 sets and remains perfect in conference play.
Tonight, I feel even though the lineup was switched up, we communicated really well and had confidence in each other and trusted one another.
Again, all season long, it's been serving and serve receive. We've done that really well, and it puts us at such an advantage to play defense when they're out of system. So it works well for us.
I can't even put it into words because I've been here since we first beat a few of these teams, and then the next year we beat all but one, and then this year we've beaten everyone in the team, if I'm correct. And I never would have seen this coming, and I'm really excited for the next couple weeks.
Hi, I'm Juan Jaramillo. I'm a men's soccer player, and I'm majoring in biomedical engineering. My celebrity crush is Gal Gadot because she makes a wonderful Wonder Woman. I'm not a fan of pineapple on pizza. It doesn't belong there. That's all I gotta say. I like Spider-Man because he helps out his neighbors no matter how helpless they are. My favorite song, You Raise Me Up by Josh Groban because it's very inspirational. My pet peeve, I don't like it when my roommates fail to wash their dishes because I like it when my room is clean.
Time now to take a look inside Lawrence Technological University. Ever dreamed of learning how to design automobiles or other modes of transportation? Lawrence Technological University is the place to pursue your passion. Lawrence Tech has created a unique transportation design program that allows you to blend your creative design talent along with comprehensive understanding of automotive technology.
I think the biggest advantage of going to Lawrence Tech for product design or trans design is that we work really closely with people in industry. There's always people from different companies walking around our studio. In the spring semester, there's plenty of opportunities for internship positions.
This unique program offers many unique benefits. 100% of students enrolled in the transportation design program win internships in the industry. Students participate in company-sponsored projects all 4 years. All students are given a personal workspace in dedicated design studios led by industry designers and leaders. And top student designs are displayed at the North American International Auto Show, one of the biggest shows in the world. If you're interested in transportation and industrial design and you want to learn more about the degree programs offered at LTU, do yourself a huge favor and go to the website right now, ltu.edu. Find out how you can steer yourself onto the highway of your incredible future.
What's up, LTU fans? I'm Chloe Godbold here at Blue Devil Stadium as we await the matchup of our women's soccer team against the Golden Eagles of Cornerstone University. Coming up after the break, we bring you all these highlights as well as all the football action as our boys hit the gridiron against St. Francis University. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You have a say in helping determine who wins two of the most coveted awards in high school football by voting for the state champs Mr. Football and Amble Awards presented by Hungry Howie's. Who will join the ranks of previous Mr. Footballs such as DeQuan Finn, Cody White, and Alex Malzone? In 2018, Marcel Lewis was the Amble's first champ. Who's next to be the top linebacker or lineman in Michigan? Keep up with both races by watching our weekly updates on State Champs social media. Vote for Mr. Football and the Amble Award at StateChampsNetwork.com.
So you want to work out, and you're curious about supplements, but don't know where to start. All you have to do is, oh, you're already done. With the Benefit Box, you get full-size supplements customized to you and tailored to your fitness goals. With easy-to-use instructions delivered right to your front door. Visit www.thebenefitbox.com to get started on building your box and you today.
With 2 games left, our women's soccer team needs a couple of wins to secure a home playoff berth. Now tonight, their first challenge is going to be the Golden Eagles from Cornerstone University. Let's find out how this one played out. Roll the highlights.
After outscoring their opponents 14-3 in their last 4 conference games, the LTU women's soccer team was back in Southfield to take on the Golden Eagles of Cornerstone University on a cold and rainy night inside Blue Devil Stadium. The Eagles would strike first in the 15th minute when Madison Radcliffe sent a cross over to Alexis Rickson, who nailed in the header to put Cornerstone on the board first, giving them the early lead at 1-0. Not too much later, the Blue Devils were fighting back as freshman Deanna Hill is able to get through 2 defenders with some nifty moves. She dishes to Caitlin Mather, whose shot is saved by the Golden Eagles keeper. 10 minutes left in the half, Cornerstone now up 3-0 after a couple quick goals. Still threatening off the corner, but senior goalie Rebecca Almendaz makes a great diving play to save face for the LTU defense. Under 5 minutes to go in the first half, a foul in the CU box on Ayanna Reed would set up a penalty kick for Lawrence Tech. The junior Mather would do the honors and cut the deficit as she sends it in the bottom right corner. That makes it now 15 goals on the season for Mather as the ladies trailed 3-1 heading into the break. In the second half, the Blue Devils would attempt to make a comeback off a corner kick from senior Allie Nybor, but couldn't get anything going. That would be all the action in the second frame as the women's soccer team would lose by a final score of 3-1 to Cornerstone. The Blue Devils will wrap up the regular season against UNOH on senior night, Saturday, November 2nd.
I think second half we looked every bit as good as Cornerstone, if not a little bit better. But by then we'd already given them 3 goals, and it's too hard to come back. I mean, the goal before halftime I thought might be enough to spark us, and if we'd have got one early in the second half, I think it would have been a real good finish. But we kind of coughed and spluttered and never really got anywhere in the second half, which is a shame. But we trace it back to giving them 3 goals, and give them credit too. They're a good team, but you just can't give teams a lead like that and expect to get something out of it.
I thought we came out really strong the second half, and I think after we scored a goal, it really gave us some momentum. We just need to work to our strengths to be able to score a goal and then keep that momentum going through the game. And I think giving up a goal early was our downfall. But from there, I think we worked hard. We just needed a little bit more competitive spirit.
We have to take it as a lesson, and maybe that in the postseason we catch somebody else like we got caught today, and maybe that gets us through a couple of rounds and into a championship game, or something just as special. So it has to be a learning opportunity.
On November 2nd, the LTU football team was back inside Blue Devil Stadium for their 7th game of the year in the midst of a very busy weekend for LTU athletics. The day's opponent, the 8th-ranked Cougars from St. Francis, Indiana, with a record of 5-2 overall. The Cougars would show out in their opening drive after receiving to start the first half. QB Matt Crable hits Dan Rixey on the wide receiver screen. He gets a couple good blocks downfield and goes on in for the 36-yard score. St. Francis strikes first, up 7-0. Late stages of the opening quarter, and the Blue Devils needed a burst of energy, down 21-0. Known for his big playability, freshman Derek Hinton hauls in the deep pass from Tyler Kulka. He slips a tackle, turns on the Jets, and dives for the end zone for 6. That 72-yard pitch and catch gets LTU on the board with the score now 21-6 going into the second. St. Francis would respond early in the second quarter, now inside the red zone. Crable hands it off to Matt Kowinkowicz on the jet sweep, and the junior wideout takes it 11 yards in for the touchdown. Driving late in the half is LTU. Kolka rolls out on third down and hits tight end CJ Thompson, who lowers his shoulder to pick up a big gain and into scoring position. That would set up the final score of the half as Kolka drops back in the pocket once again. He heaves one up and bringing it down over the defender is sophomore Nick Spawn. That amazing TD catch would cut the deficit down for the Blue Devils 42-13 going into the break. We jump to late in the fourth quarter with LTU still trailing but showing no quit whatsoever. Switching to the run attack as sophomore tailback Makai Otero busts through the line and powers his way into the end zone for the touchdown. That would be the final score of the day as LTU drops a hard-fought battle with one of the nation's top teams, 59-20 the final score.
Devin Heitkamp trying to keep Uno alive. That sails long, and for the first time in program history, Lawrence Tech has been crowned WAC Conference Champion. This magical run continues to win number 26, 17-0 in conference play for the first time in program history.
Coming up this week in LTU Athletics. On Wednesday, November 6th, women's basketball is home for an early morning matchup against Grace Christian. Tip-off is at 11 a.m. Saturday the 9th, football is back home to face Concordia at the Blue Devils Stadium. Kickoff is at 1 p.m. Women's volleyball continues their historic season against Siena Heights. Game starts at 5 p.m. For all game times and locations, please visit the LTU Athletics website.
All right, Blue Devil fans, that wraps it up for us this week on the LTU Sports Report, but be sure to tune in every Monday at 4:30 p.m. to Fox Sports Detroit for all the latest episodes.
And if you crave more LTU athletic action, connect with us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
From all of us here at Lawrence Tech, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week.
LTU Sports Report is brought to you by Varsity Brands, elevating student experiences in sport, spirit, and achievement. The City of Southfield, the center of it all. Michigan First Credit Union, and Hungry Howie's, famous for flavor.